I'm calling this lesson a little lesson about charges. Now, you have to know how charges behave, so let's get started. First of all, counting charges. Let's take a look. So, counting charges, we call this a pith ball. How do you count the charges? Well, let's just count the positives. I have plus 2. Let's count the negatives. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And overall, that adds up to an overall charge of minus 3. The overall charge of this thing is minus 3 because 3 of the positives cancel out 3 of the negatives. Sorry, 2 of the positives cancel out 2 of the negatives, and there are 3 extra negatives. So overall, it's negative, right? Let's make another one. Let's make one that's really kind of crazy. Oh my Lord, this is, oh my gourd, no, oh my Lord. So, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 positives, 9 positives, and I have 6 negatives. Overall, that gives me a charge of plus 3. This thing is overall positive 3. Are we good? Okay, now once you have that, we're going to look at how things interact and get repelled. And you have to know this rule. You should all already know that protons never move. The second rule for static electricity is opposites attract. So a positive charge pulls on a negative charge and attracts it. The opposite is also true. Similar charges push away. But I figure if you can remember positives attract, you'll be okay, right? Okay. Let's go. So I'm going to have 2 little styrofoam balls hanging on a string. We call these pith balls, and they're going to be charged. So let's count the charges. I have plus 3 and negative 4, so overall it's negative 1. This one is plus 6, negative 2. Overall the charge, if you add them up, is plus 6 minus 2 is plus 4. When I look at these, will they be attracted or repelled? Now the rule was opposites attract. So I'm looking at the charge and I have a negative and I have a positive. So what does that mean? It means they're going to pull on each other, and since they're hanging on strings, they're actually, here let's draw little arrows, and they're actually going to sort of come closer to each other, kind of like that. I'm just trying to make it fit, but you get the idea. They'd swing closer because opposites attract. Say it with me, opposites attract. Okay. Next one, I have an overall positive charge. You can see that right away. Okay, just for fun, of course, we count because that's what we do. And this one has an overall charge of positive 2. You notice the charges are similar. So if opposites attract, it means that similar charges will repel, and they will push away from each other, and they're going to kind of swing outwards. I'll draw it just smaller, right? They would swing out this way and swing away from each other because they don't want to be near each other. Just like magnets in your house, right? So, opposites attract. I keep saying it over. And now I'm going to think of a tricky question. And my question is this. I have a pith ball. It has this charge, and I ask, what is the charge of this? Now, you don't have to tell me a number, but you do have to tell me, is it positive or negative or neutral? Actually, we'll stick to positive and negative. So it'll be positive or negative. Which one will it be? Now, if you look at this, you could look at this and say, oh my Lord, I don't know how to do it. But I keep saying, work the problem. Even if you don't know how to do it, do the little baby steps that you do know how to do, and maybe you'll get somewhere. Okay, so don't just stare at the problem if you're in a test or something. Actually do what you can and take it where it'll lead you. So I see the charges, I know how to count the charges. Let's start. Plus 3 minus 2. Overall, that's a plus 1 charge, okay? I know the charge of that. And wait a second, if I look and I pay attention, I see that the strings that these things are hanging off of are pulling together. So there's an attraction. They attract. Okay, so I'm going to write a little number here in the order that I did it. We'll do that in brown, just to use a different color. Okay, so I figured out the charge, then I figured out that they attract, And I know that if they attract, the rule says opposites attract. So therefore, this one must be opposite. So therefore, this guy is negative. Negative charge. Let's do it again. I ask, look, I have this pith ball, and I ask, is it positive or negative? Well, let's do the steps. What's the first step? Count the charges, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negatives, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positives. Overall, that means it's a charge of -2, meaning it's negative. I notice it's repelling. And the rule is similar charges repel. So that means that that tells me that this one must be the same charge, and hence the answer for this is negative. So that's a tricky question that they've given in the past in exams, and you should know it.